What is up? My name's Albert and welcome back to the channel. If you guys have been keeping up with this Audi S5, we already did a video on the hood, did a video on the bumper. Now I am going to do a video on the fender. The reason I'm doing these videos is instead of a how to do this fender, not this fender, but how to wrap a fender, how to wrap a hood, I'm kind of doing a sequence here. So I did the hood first because, I disassembled the whole car first, right? So I did the hood first with the front bumper on because I wanted to show you guys how to wrap a hood with the parts of the front bumper still on, because sometimes it's harder, and especially you have a gaping hole in the front. So I did that, and then after I did the hood, I raised the car up, I removed the front bumper, and I wrapped the front bumper. And now I'm gonna wrap the fenders. And the reason for that is, usually I put it on 4 jack stands, but this time I just have it up on 2 jack stands. That way, you know, I remove the bumper, wrap it, put it back together. I wrap the 2 fenders, and then I put the front bumper back on, drop the car, and then I do the back side. There's no real reason as to why, but I notice it's just easier if I do one side up. I don't know. That's just my preference, but everybody has their own technique. This is just how I do it. I drop it, then raise the front up because it goes up higher and stuff. I just like doing it like that. But that's why I want to do it. So probably do the hood install first video. So check that video out. Front bumper, we'll do a second video on that. So go check that one out. And then now I'm doing the fenders. I'm not going to do both fenders. Maybe I'll do both fenders. But the reason I also want to just touch up on those other videos is how to cut the fender. If you're not very experienced, you would probably this fender measures about 26 inches. So you'll probably measure out 26 inches, cut it, flip it, and then put it, and then that works. Wrong. Do not do that. Because 1, this film is directional. 2, I treat all films like they're directional. 3, you'll see it once it's on the car and you're driving down the street, or you see the customer leaving, or you sit back and you look back at what you did. Not bad way, but like you look back, look at your work. You'll see the fenders off to the door and it doesn't match. So everything is treated like it's directional. So I say it on every video. I talk about it, and I talk about the biggest points when you're wrapping that'll be very crucial when the car is done. So I always try to talk about all those points in every single video, not just a fender video and I just talk about the fender. I talk about everything in the big picture. What I wanted to do is always keep in count. The fender is 26 inches from top to bottom. This is 60 inches from top to bottom. So the fender's 46 inches long. So what I'll do is I'll measure 46 inches out, cut it, and then I'll fold it in half and cut right down the middle. And that's enough for both sides. But I do put an arrow on the back side so I know which direction is up. So I keep my roll this way, right? And then my roll stays up like this all the time. So anytime I cut, I know this roll just continues going and going and going around the car. And that's how I keep track of what side my direction is. And then anytime I cut something that is going to go on a car, I put an arrow facing up. And that way, when I go put it on the car, just in case for whatever reason I wasn't paying attention, or I'm like, wait, what is this? How does this go? I look in the back, has an arrow, and it goes up. So then now I know that that direction is up and I have it the right way. Or if I have it upside down, then it's pointing down. Then I'm like, crap, this needs to go up. I always put my arrows on the top. I never do up and then down, because then that's just too much. I just keep an arrow and then that's always pointing up. So that means that piece goes up. Because if I start going arrows down, then left and right, then I'm like looking like, what the hell is this? Where does this go? Is this down? Is this up? So I just always put an arrow facing up, and then I always know that that side goes up. So I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod. I'm going to cut this piece out, and I'm going to cut both fenders out of one piece and then wrap the fender. And I might honestly, instead of just doing the fender on one, I might just never done this before, but I'll do the video on both fenders, and maybe we'll do one fender, walk you guys through it, how to do it. And then the second fender will just kind of be a time lapse, and I'll slap the bumper back on, and then you guys see what I mean. I cut out my panel, got everything laid out. Just like I said, I measured out 46 inches. Then this is only 27 inches tall. So do your math. That's enough for 30 and a half, you know, so then you give yourself 30, you cut the 60-inch piece in half, and that's all you need, and you save it because you want to keep it running the same direction, and you want to try to save as much material as possible. So I already got everything masked off. What I like to do when I'm wrapping a fender, or any panel at that, I like to shape it. So I'll go ahead, and I'll leave myself 3 inches all the way around. See that? I had an arrow right in the back, just in case I forgot. And now this, if I were to use it for like door handles or mirrors or whatever, this scrap has an arrow on the back. Now I know. All right, I got enough there. Cut some off there, my edge. And if you're wondering what that is a wheel cover. That wheel cover just helps exactly what it says, cover the wheel. But it also helps if it's like you're spraying slippy solution or degreaser or whatever to clean the car. It protects the wheels. And then also when you're laying vinyl and stuff and you go to like push off, you don't get a big old handful of grease. And then also it just helps protect debris like static. So if when I go to pull this off and there's dirt on that wheel, the dirt will get underneath the fender. So there's a lot of reasons as to why I use wheel covers. But yeah, sell them online. Make sure you guys, maybe I can have Harry put down a link below, or Daniel or Mai put a link down below for the wheel covers if anybody wants to buy them. I don't know exactly how much they are, but I think they're like 40, 30 bucks a pair. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, that's a quick solution to debris and ruining somebody's wheels. Anyways, so how you can attack this is I usually just pull the whole backing off and then just continue. This is a pretty small fender. It's a straightforward fender. It's nothing crazy. So I'll go ahead, pull the backing off, move my magnets so they're not in the way. And then I'll start at the top. This doesn't need too much of a stretch, so I'm not gonna get too crazy with it, but I just like to give it a little snug pull. I'll just warm it up. So it's pretty cold in here. And I'll glass it. And I'll just squeegee it. Right to my edge. I'm just gonna pick that tacking point. And what I wanna show on this side, I have a corner here, I have a corner here, and I have a corner there. So what I wanna do is I wanna pull to these corners, and I wanna pull out towards these corners and hook them. Then I'll do this one last. So here, heat up the whole area, find my corners, and like that, hook one and hook the other one. Don't worry about these wrinkles here because we can do this. We can lift this up just like that. Now, hook this corner, it didn't latch on. So now that these corners are on, I'll go ahead and give it some heat, make sure there's no peel back. Then down here, some heat. Now I want to put tension on it. Anytime you have wrinkles and you want to pop them out, you put tension on the film and you pop it out. Tension on the film and you pop it out. Just like that. And then I want to, as soon as I start applying heat, it'll soften up and I'll start letting go of the film. I don't want to keep a lot of tension on the film and distort it. Now I'm going to pull towards this corner, hook just like that. And now that I have this hooked and this hooked, I want to just give it some heat to relax the film and see what it does. All right, everything looks good. Now we're gonna go ahead and continue to the other side. This fender is nothing crazy. There's no like recessed areas. There's no like curves or nothing. It's pretty flat. So I just don't want to give it too much heat. I'm just gonna warm it up and pull it, and then hook my corner there, and then use my finger to kind of hinge it and then pick up the other side. I want to soften it up because I want to hook that corner. Just like that. And then, you guessed it, hook the last corner. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and massage everything. Squeegee everything down. Like I said, this fender is pretty straightforward and easy, but I just wanted to make a video of like the whole project for once and kind of just so you guys can see what really goes into wrapping a car, opposed to, hey, here's how to wrap this fender, you know? I mean, there's only so many times we can kind of show you guys how to wrap a fender or a door or a hood, you know? So kind of just the whole project itself, what goes into it. And maybe as you're watching me wrap this whole vehicle, maybe it like something clicks, you know? All right, so now I want to go ahead and trim it, leave about an inch, and then continue. And like, maybe if you guys watch me wrap a bunch of stuff and I kind of go over the things that I do and how I do things, it'll help you guys. All right, so now here, and then there's a trim that goes here. So I removed the trim just because it'll be a lot easier for me. See, like it took me 2 seconds to pop that trim off. I was just very careful because you can break them. So now I want to cut behind this corner and then cut right on this edge. I'm cutting on the opposite side, so I'm not cutting on the door, I'm cutting on the fender. I'm not cutting on the fender, I'm cutting on the door. Like that. And now I'll use my tucking tool and I'll tuck from the corner out. And then I tuck towards the middle, and I'll just try to get farther as in as I can. You always want to look and see what objects are in your way. So here there's a little trim piece that goes around the wheel well. You want to make sure that I just get in there. I cleaned it really good because there was a lot of grease in there. So you just want to make sure you get in there. And then after that, you can come back and cut it just like that. And then obviously I'll apply some heat after. So I want to tuck as much as I can down here in the bottom, and I'll lift it and push at the same time. And I also have my tape here. Once I feel like I got pretty close to tucking, I'll trim it and I'll tuck it again. Sometimes having too much wrap, it also creates like friction and it doesn't go in all the way. So now it did. I'll cut right in the bottom. Same thing I did on the door. I'll cut on the opposite side of what I'm wrapping. Always remember it that way. Then I'll apply heat, because then the heat relaxes the film and it just kind of seals the deal. That. All right, and then around this wheel well, actually I checked earlier and it's about a 3/4 of an inch that I need to wrap around. So I'll give myself about an inch all the way around. Just like that. Go ahead. Now, when you wrap around this wheel well on the fender, you don't need to go too crazy and go all the way back. I like to do that. Doesn't mean you need to. Like, you can leave like about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch all the way around and you'll be fine. There's no need to like over tuck, but like I said, I like overdoing it. And the reason I'm saying that it's okay to not give it, like not wrap the whole thing, is 'cause sometimes it might fail. There might be rock chips. If you didn't clean it properly, it'll start to peel. I always clean it with degreaser underneath the wheel wells, and then I clean it with rubbing alcohol, and that helps. So now that I got that trimmed up, bottom trimmed up, wheel well trimmed up, back to the corners. So I like to trim right behind the corners, and I'll trim all the way in the bottom, and then same thing over here. Just like that. Remember, the bumper attaches onto this, so you won't see much of the gap. It goes literally right up on this edge and bumps. So even if you left a 1/16 of an inch in from this bevel, you'll be fine. I like wrapping all the way to the edge because sometimes the vibration pushes the vinyl. And if the vinyl is kind of short, it's easier for it to push over. So I like to wrap around the edge and cut it right to the back of it. And I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. So I like to do it like that. So you can come up like the middle of that, and the bumper, when it touches up against it, it'll be fine. But like the bumper gets a lot of air and vibration, so sometimes it'll push, and it'll be easier for this to like push up to the edge and wrinkle up. And you'll see, maybe I can have Daniel and Mai put a picture of a vibration of what it looks like when the vibration kind of shifts the vinyl. And doing this all the way around and wrapping it around and then cutting it on the edge eliminates that. It helps a lot. Doesn't eliminate it completely, but it definitely helps a lot. I noticed that once I started doing this, a lot of cars stopped doing that. So that was just a quick little tip. And now this says right here, kind of just pretty straightforward. There's nothing crazy here. It's just right to the edge. There's like a few trim pieces. Goes right up to the edge. And I just make sure I'm fully tucked. And same thing, once you have it all tucked in, cut on the opposite side of the panel that you're wrapping. All right, then over here, like I said, sometimes I like to over wrap. And then just always give some heat to the area you're just tucking to make sure, like I say over and over. Okay, so now on here, when you cut, I usually leave this to the end. You can open the door and you pick the sharpest corners first. All right, you got stuck together, but now we're good. Do the corners first, then I'll do this one, and then you go from the bottom up. Just like that, and that's it. Then I'll just, for these, I don't like to sit there and cut around. I just make a straight X across the hole. So just like that, make an X on the hole. Because when the pins go in, it just pushes that apart and it keeps it a little tight. So that's why I like doing it like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, this was pretty easy Fender. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one now. Jump onto the other side. But let me show you the finished product and then maybe we'll just time lapse the other Fender and I'll show you guys when I put the car back together. It's a corner, the edges, corner, corner. That's the Fender. Pretty much it. See how the corners look when you hook them? Like that. So one thing I do want to refresh on is when you're wrapping anything, not just a Fender, you want to clean with rubbing alcohol all around the edge. In between the cracks, I'll take my micro squeegee and then you can see my rag. This is from cleaning in between areas and underneath areas. So you definitely want to clean because you don't want that to get underneath the wrap because it will lift. And I know a lot of times those are the issues when stuff does lift or peel. The glue doesn't have something to touch on. So I usually put my micro squeegee or my tucking tools and I put my rag like this and then I'll spray rubbing alcohol just like that and I'll run it in between the cracks, in between the Fender, and there's like a little plastic seal right here I don't want to take off. So I'll clean that and look, that was just from right now. So even when you think it's clean, it's always good to hit it again because a lot of the times that is a main reason for film failure. As long as the material has a solid surface to sit on, there's no reason for it to peel unless you overstretch it. There's a lot of little things that you can do while wrapping stuff that would eliminate that. Just wanted to touch up on that on the video. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. So we'll just wrap this Fender and then I'll show you guys the end result of why I take the bumper off and the fenders. So you see how I mark my vinyl? It's always good because you definitely don't want to put it the opposite way. All right, so I'm there. I just make sure all the way around that I'm good. And I just like feeling around the edge to see if I have enough. So first thing I do is when I lay the vinyl out, I already prep my area, clean everything, go and I start and I cut one side of the fender and I make sure I leave about 2 to 3 inches all the way around, just like that. And then if I really wanted to, I can just trim up, nothing crazy. You don't really have, it's easier for me. So I usually pick one side, start off, pull my corner back, tack it. And then if there is metal, then you put it on there and then you pull off backing. Fender's pretty straightforward. Try to just put the magnet just like that and I'll give it like a good cold stretch. Now I'll come back and I just want to make sure that I gloss this area. I know the other side I did it a little bit differently, but I'm just giving you guys different ways of wrapping the fender. There's not right or wrong way to do it. It's just kind of what, you know, makes sense and works. It's really cold right now, so I'm just giving it a little bit of heat, soften it up, and then I'm just going to give it a nice little snug pull. And always hook your corner. So I'll hook this one first. That's just a temporary hook or hinge, and then I'll soften up the material over here. It's really cold right now. It's hard to get a good, nice hook on it. So I'll find my corner, I'll pull it, and then hook it. And the hooking part is very important as you're laying, because if you saw any of our other videos, hook it, you set yourself up, and then you don't have to worry about it after. So here I'm just gonna soften up the film and hook it. Then I'm just massaging the film down. Had a little wrinkle there. All right, so now I want to go up high and I would like to get a big area if I am going to stretch. And then you guessed it, I'm going to hook my corner. Just like that, and then just squeegee it to where you need to get. Here, anytime there's like a little indent where the badge goes, I always pick the deepest point first and then massage it out. And that's it. And then there's a deep recess area here. We do that first. Then you kind of just have to work the film and squeegee it out. All right, so that's one way of doing this, is getting this part done, because now I can start here, focus here, and stretch that way. This fender is not too difficult. I like to trim up the wrap after I have it fully squeegeed down, just to avoid resistance and it lifting back up. Now I'll go back here and I'll give it some heat. And remember, find your corners, and that's where you pull to and glass it out. Found my corner here. I like hooking my first corner, holding the wrap off panel itself, just so I can give it a little bit more heat, because by then it'll be cool. If it's cold like it is now, you know, sometimes you have to stop and reheat it up. And then find my corner, hook my corner there, get rid of the wrinkles. Just like that. I hooked my first two corners. I hooked that corner, hooked that corner. I haven't squeegeed anything down yet. So I'll go here, I'm just warming it up because it's cold in here. Hook the corner. And the rest, I'm lifting it off the panel, giving it a little bit of heat to get rid of the wrinkles, and we're good. Then I'll squeegee this part. And the reason I'm squeegeeing this part first is because this part's sticking out. The rest of the fender folds into the hood, so this is popping out. So I wanna make sure I squeegee the surface area that's sticking out the most, that's gonna get in my way. There's wrinkles here. I'll lift my vinyl and I'll just warm it up a little bit. And as it starts warming up, I wanna loosen up the film, because I put tension on the film to lift it up and to get it to glass out. The second that you hit the vinyl with the heat gun, it starts to soften up. So you have to start letting go of the vinyl, because if you just keep that same tension on it as you're heating it, a lot of you guys might have experienced fingerprints or even discoloration, because you have tension on it and there's that film, it's making it really soft, so it's gonna start to separate. Keep that in mind when you're using a heat gun, is relieving that tension as the heat is applied. Just like that. There's a little divot in there, so what I want to do is I want to lay it in there. Since we already hooked our corners, the corners are the first things you want to do. So I'll go back and I'll just hit everything with heat all the way around, just to make sure there's no pullback, no lifting, and everything is good. All right, we just trim up the edges, and once we trim them up, I leave about a 1/4 inch around the edge. It's not all the same for every single panel. You have to just gauge it and see what is rolled over. Like if I look here and I'm like, oh, okay, there's about an 1/8 inch of lip, I'll cut about an 1/8 inch. There's more than enough if I cut an 1/8 inch to tuck around it, because the bumper sits here. So that's why you always pay attention when you disassemble, where you need a tuck and how you need a tuck. And then after it's disassembled, when you're wrapping, you see how much you need cut, or you just cut behind the piece. Over wrapping is always good. If I over wrap it, the vibration, less chance that it makes that friction to kind of lift the film. And I know a lot of experienced wrappers know exactly what I'm talking about. Now I'm just gonna give this some heat, kind of fold this over, and I'm like, all right, I need about a good inch is what I need. So I'll give myself 1.5 inches. I just want to shape it so I can get less resistance when I'm wrapping it. That's about 1.5 inches. And if you're wondering how I cut straight, or how it's so straight all the time, it's because I use my fingers. So I'll put my finger here, and then I'll hold this blade like this, and I'll use this finger, and this finger here is like my spacer. Now after I trimmed it up and shaped it a little better, I'll come back and give it heat again, and I'll start down here. So I have a little plastic trim here that I have to like cut around and tuck. I'll continue here. Now I'll come back, lift it, and I'll use my tucking tool, and I'll tuck it. Tuck it as much as I can, tuck my corner, and tuck all the way underneath. You kind of just shove it in there. All right, and then I'll come back, cut the extra film, and then come down here, cut the bottom of it once it's all nice and tucked. And then massage it in. I know some guys like to make like cuts And honestly, I think it's a waste of time. So as long as you continue to use heat and massage it over and over, the biggest thing is shaping it. A lot of guys try to just shove it in there when there's this much wrap and all that. If there's a piece of vinyl coming across here like this, of course it's gonna create that friction. But if you start trimming it up and just shaping it, the panel, and the closer you get to your edge, here I could have probably cut another 1/2 inch and it will eliminate resistance. Watch. So I'm already at my edge here, but if I just come back and I cut another like that, and then come back and then just cut probably about another 1/2 inch. See how it eliminates that resistance? So now it goes right in there and I don't need to make those slits. And honestly, I feel like it's just kind of common sense. If I'm wrapping and I've never wrapped before, even if I'm pushing this in here, I know if I shape it to the car, it's gonna, you know, less friction, less resistance. There's no need for me to make a bunch of little slits to relieve tension, because essentially it's the same thing, you just one clean cut. Now I'll come back and I just get right behind the fender layer. And like I said, you don't have to cut all the way to the back of this. Makes it a lot easier if you just cut to the back. Remember how we hooked our corners down here already? Now I come behind this corner because I already hooked it right behind it, just like that, and then I'll come down and cut on the opposite panel that I'm wrapping. Just give it a little bit of heat, make sure it doesn't peel back, and then I'll come back, and you always hit the sharpest corners first because you want to push those in and then kind of Pac-Man it. I like applying heat to everything after I'm done just to see what it does. And now here, there's like a little beveled edge. I'll just massage it down with my fingers, make sure I lay it in. There's nothing really else to it. All I have left is this top piece over here. You just want to check and see what you're tucking, how much you need to tuck, and what you're gonna tuck. Anytime I tuck something or I cut something, I like to hit it with heat. Now I want to just right up against the area that I'm cutting. And then if you're wondering what this yellow stuff is, it's the tape. And what the tape is for is it lowers the surface energy. So, you know, if it gets stuck on here and it's easier to lift. And then also when I go and trim my edges to tuck around and before I cut, I like to shape the fender or whatever panel you're wrapping. Lowers the chance of me cutting the paint. So, and if it's wrapped, it, you know, it just protects the wrap or the paint. That's pretty much all it's for. Nothing special about it. Anyway, sorry about the fan because it stinks in here. I turned the fan on. Yeah, that's it. So we'll go ahead and I'll walk you guys through it just real quick. Look at it just like the last one, but nothing special. See, those are corners, edges. And like I said, actually, since I got you guys on here, this is for a trim piece right here. If it's just like a little pin that goes in there, all I do is I cut across and cut down across. Cut across and cut down across. Cut across. I don't sit there and try to shape it and cut it all perfect. It's a waste of freaking time. Once the pin goes in there, it'll just open up. And it keeps it a little bit snug too, so that's why I like doing that. Because if I just go cut, and then I push, it's just a pin, you know, when the plastic pins, it'll go in there, and this vinyl kind of like just makes it a little bit tighter because they do get kind of wonky after you rip them out. So that's part of the reason why I like leaving it like that too. Now, if it's a bolt with a thread or something or a screw that goes in there, I will cut the whole circle around because I don't want to get it in the way. This is the little edge right here, corner. Now, one thing is, remember, don't leave the magnets on the vinyl because they will leave imprints and they don't go away. You learn that fast when you're wrapping. So usually I would say don't even leave it on there for more than 20-30 minutes. While you're installing it, it's fine. After you take it off, don't put it back. And if you're wrapping or you're putting magnets around, make sure you put it on a surface that doesn't have wrap, because you will see it. It's not something you might see, it's something you will see. And it'll suck if you leave it on the door panel or fender or bumper, well, not bumper because they're plastic, or any quarter panel or something, and then you forget it, you come back 2 days later and there's a big imprint there and the car's complete. Because a customer will see it, you'll see it, it'll drive me crazy. So, but anyways, my name's Albert, this is Tinybot Vinyl. Sorry about the fan, it stinks in here. I'm not gonna put the assembly of the bumper back on here, but if you guys do wanna see assembly and disassembly videos, comment down below and let us know. I'll just make highlight videos and that'll cut off after this. It'll go to the highlight videos. If you guys do wanna see more disassembly and install and how I got to certain points of the car, let me know. I'm more than happy to show you guys. I'm just more focused on showing you guys how to wrap. It's the education purpose. Hit the like button, subscribe, Get the little notification button down here, over here, because every share, every like, every comment, every repost, whatever it is, every subscription, it helps us to do what we're trying to do. With that being said, peace guys. See you guys on the next one. Stay tuned for the rest of the car because there's going to be plenty coming in hot.